up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of THKD TV. Today I just wanted to talk about AEW Revolution. I actually had a chance to watch it earlier today. Last night I was out and about, so wasn't around to watch any wrestling. This was actually only the third AEW pay-per-view I've watched, and the reason for that is because I just can't bring myself to pay $50 to watch a pay-per-view in 2020. I'm sorry. It's like, I had the WWE Network. I was paying $9.99 a month to watch all their programming. And then you've got New Japan World pays. I'm not sure how much it costs now, but at one point it was like $8.99 a month with the conversion to watch all the New Japan shows, all the classic content, all the documentaries and stuff. So I just don't feel like the traditional pay-per-view model works in 2020, and I just can't fathom spending $50 to watch one show when I can pay $9.99 to watch all the shows for New Japan. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm hoping that AEW works something out eventually, some kind of subscription service similar to what New Japan has, because, it's just, I can't do it. But anyway, I happened to acquire a way to watch AEW Revolution, so I did check it out, and I must say it was one of the best non-New Japan pay-per-views I've seen in years, hands down, without a question. All the matches were pretty good, with the only, and it wasn't even that it was a bad match, I just felt like the women's match was a little bit clunky, and, I feel like AEW has really hit their stride here, especially with, like, the past 3 episodes of Dynamite, but I feel like they're one area where that still hasn't quite gelled yet is the women's division. It just, and it's not, it has nothing to do with the talent. The talent's great. They've got all the talent in the world, but just something about the way the matches are being put together and the way the women are being booked, it just doesn't quite sit quite right with me, and I'm seeing that seems to be a fairly common criticism of the company, but, I think they're finally trying to figure it out. That Fatal 4-Way match that they had on this past episode of Dynamite was quite good, but a lot of times it just, I don't know, something clunky about the women's division. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about all the matches because I don't want this video to go on forever and ever. Just kind of want to hit the highlights of the pay-per-view. For me, the best match of the night would have had to have been the Tag Team Championship match, the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. I thought that match was fantastic. It told a great story. Anybody that says the Young Bucks don't have any psychology is full of shit, and they need to watch this match right away. There was callbacks to a lot of stuff, with especially when the Bucks hit Omega with the golden trigger, and then he kicked out at 1. I thought that was a really cool moment. They hit him with it again. The little homage from Hangman to Marty Scurll when he did the low kick and then the chicken wing on, I think it was on Matt. That was really cool. Of course, anytime you get those 4 guys in the ring, they're going to tear it up. 4 of the best wrestlers in the world, in my opinion, and they really killed it on this one. I really like the storyline with Hangman, and I like the part where he, at the end, kind of teased that he was going to hit Kenny with the buckshot lariat, but then ended up not doing it. I thought that was a pretty good little moment there. It kind of furthered the storyline, and I'm interested to see where that continues to go. I'm anticipating Hangman heel turn, but when's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? They're keeping us in suspense right now on that, and I do appreciate that. I think the booking has gotten really good here in the past couple weeks, and again these past few episodes, and now with Revolution, I feel like AEW is really hitting its stride. So again, that tag team match was my top match of the night. Loved MJF versus Cody. That was a great match. MJF worked a perfect old school heel match. Everything he did was just right on the money. Cody obviously had the crowd behind him. Still looks strong even though he lost in the end. And a lot of people complained about Cody not winning that match, but I thought it was perfect to have MJF win because immediately, he beats Cody by nefarious means, and that immediately makes him a top heel in the company. The only real top heel right now is Jericho, and they need another. They can't just have one top heel. They got to have a couple kind of elite, if you will, heels, and that match certainly, I think, pushed MJF up into the ranks of a top heel in the company. So I thought it was perfect that he won, and the way he won was perfect, and all his little antics throughout the match were great. I also loved when he was in the crowd and he grabbed somebody's beer and threw it at one of the other fans that was talking shit to him. I thought that was just perfect. Not sure how that fan that got a full cup of beer on him felt, but that was just a great moment. I was glad that got caught on camera. That was just fantastic. Surprise match of the night for me was Orange Cassidy versus Pac. I didn't know what to expect from Orange Cassidy. I've seen very limited footage of him outside of AEW, and obviously the stuff he's done in AEW has been kind of limited. But holy crap, I mean, like, he's just as technically sound as anybody they've got. You know, you wouldn't know it from the way he acts. And what's funny to me is a lot of people are like, I don't get Orange Cassidy's character. It's like, he's a slacker. Like, you've never known anybody like that in your life. He's a slacker. He's indifferent, but yet somehow he always kind of comes out of things. You know, what's not to get? And then when he, you know, he's one of those guys, obviously, that has all the talent in the world, but chooses not to try. And I've known people like that my whole life. I mean, at least one or two. I mean, surely you guys have too. So I don't understand what's not to get about his gimmick. But I thought that was a great match. Pac is just a vicious, badass guy, you know, badass wrestler, and he really, you know, he played a little bit of the comedy stuff with Orange, but then, you know, when time came to turn it on, they both turned it on, and I thought it was an awesome match. You know, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a squash, you know, with Pac coming out on top, and of course he did win, but it definitely wasn't a squash, and Orange got in some really good offense, and I'd love to see more of him now that we see what he can do. I feel like he's already like one of the most over guys, if not the most over guys in the company. So it's like, get him in the ring, give him some more singles matches. Let's see what this guy can do, because obviously he's got something there. The fans have, the majority of the fans, I guess I should say, have gravitated towards him. He has his detractors for sure, but I dig what he does, and especially after seeing him against Pac, I thought that was a really fantastic match and very surprising match. Want to talk about, of course, the main event, Moxley versus Jericho. You know, I didn't know what to expect from these two. I know they had wrestled each other in WWE, but I didn't really remember. I don't know if I ever even saw any of their matches in WWE. I'm not sure, but I thought this was a really good main event. A little more slower paced, kind of old school main event, which is what I was expecting from those two. When Jericho powerbombed Moxley on the timekeeper's table and Moxley's back of his head hit that fucking ring bell, I thought that was disaster right there. I didn't know, you know, that just looked wicked. I was like, how is he even going to finish after that? Because clearly that was like legit hitting the back of his head on that ring bell. But, you know, obviously they persevered and he came out on top. So I thought that was a killer match. Again, very old school, slower-paced main event. Which I think that was one of the really cool things about Revolution, was that every match was different. Every match was kind of a different style, and I think it was Cody, I've seen in interviews, talk about it being a buffet of wrestling, and I felt like Revolution really fit that description very well. I thought it was definitely a buffet of wrestling. If you didn't like one match, you're bound to like something else. The whole thing was just really stellar, and I think AEW is in a really good spot right now. You know, I don't know if they'll ever be able to usurp WWE, but WWE fucking sucks right now. So let's hope more people wake up to how good, just how good AEW is and can be. And I think, you know, now they've got Lance Archer coming in. We just still don't know who the Exalted One of the Dark Order is. Is it Lance Archer? Is it going to be Matt Hardy? You know, I think, you know, is it Raven? I think that's kind of a cool thing. That's really kind of, you know, a lot of people were have been skeptical or critical of the Dark Order, and I think, you know, that could be make or break who they end up having be the Exalted One. I think that's going to be pivotal to the storyline. For me, if it's anybody other than Matt Hardy, I'm going to be kind of disappointed. But you know, I'm willing to keep an open mind and see what they do with it. I'm interested to see what happens with that Dark Order storyline. Excited for Lance Archer to show up and just kick the shit out of people. You know, especially after seeing him wrestle in person, he's really impressive. You know, and he's 43 years old, which I was shocked by that. I had no idea, and he still wrestles like a son of a bitch. So good for him. You know, it seems like guys are being safer and being more careful, more conscious of their health, and their careers are going a lot longer these days. So I'm happy for that. I think that's really cool. Yeah, guys, other than that, I just wanted to share a little bit, and I'm curious to know what everybody else thought of Revolution. So if you want to chat about it, leave me a comment and I will be sure to answer it. I always like to chat with folks. Don't get a lot of comments here lately, but I would love to chat with you guys. So leave me a comment if you have any thoughts and opinions on AEW Revolution. I would love to hear what you thought of it. Until next time, guys, take care. Thanks for watching.